exit plan from dieting that doesn't require so much time after the diet is done?
If you do the diet properly, it's not going to take you a bunch of time. So an exit strategy from a diet is a process that takes you from tracking multiple metrics and having an applied stress, so dieting, cardio, like you're doing things to get to the result. The exit strategy is the process of removing those added stresses to create the adaptation and learning why those added stresses and tactics actually work in order to create the result. And you take those pieces to sustain the result. So, for example, this is the reason, because I think that people get confused with, there's two scenarios: hire a coach, go through a diet, I lose the weight, I'm done, I quit, I don't need to pay you anymore, I'm going to exit now. Why is this taking so long? I have to do all these things. Like, that's a recipe for failure. Scenario two is you hire the coach, you do the work, you get the result, but then you keep coaching while they help you reverse the cardio out, reverse your calories up, slowly learn how to intuitively eat. And then once you're actually sustaining it, you've already accomplished the exit strategy, and now you go on your own.
Yeah.
So part of me goes, what's the best way to do an exit strategy without taking so much time? There isn't. Commit to the process. It takes work. Like, you can skip the work and you can be upset that it does take some time, but then you're not going to keep the result. You're not going to sustain the result that you achieved, because it takes work. It takes focus. You can't just stop a diet and be like, oh, I'm done, and then not expect to gain weight back. That's what everybody has done in the history, right? But now we go, hey, like, I know you're at your result, but we still got to track macros for another 3 months. And they're like, fuck, are you kidding me? But yeah, but if you want to sustain the weight loss, if you want to eat more food, if you want to do less cardio, we need metrics.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, we're just crossing our fingers and guessing, closing our eyes and throwing a dart. It's not going to work. So instead, we're going to track this and use the metrics we have to slowly give you more food, do less cardio, sleep more, like manage this. All those things that you're tired of doing, tracking macros, weighing, and all those things, actually become way less tedious as you get more food, because when we're in a deficit, stress is higher, cortisol's higher, thyroid's lower. We're sick of tracking.
Totally.
But if you stay patient enough to add the calories back in and you're at maintenance, you're not that sick of it anymore. I've seen people actually say they're tired of counting, and then I convince them to keep counting macros and everything so we can reverse them properly. And then by the end of the reverse, they're like, actually, I'm probably going to keep tracking because this allows me to, control my diet. And I'm like, it's because you're not stressed out from eating less. You're eating plenty of food and you don't have that stress. So it's easier to adhere to these things, right? It's the same reason why part of the primer phase isn't just building your metabolism, it's building habits while we're not dieting. We don't put you on a diet right away because I want you to build habits while you're eating enough food so you can actually adhere to those habits.
Yeah.
Versus me putting you in a diet, now you're stressed out and hungry, and I want you to learn all this shit. It's not going to work as well. So part of me says, like, you just got to be patient. It's going to take work. The other part of me says, like, if you do the diet properly, you learn enough to where it's not as tedious, because, I mean, even for me, like, there's days I don't even touch my Fitness Pal, but it's because I eat the same fucking thing every day. And then if something changes, because I've tracked long enough, if a small thing changes in my day, I can change it without adding it into my Fitness Pal because I know what's about what. You know what I mean? And we're never going to know for sure the exact grams of anything. We know that, like I had sirloin steak last night and I got from Blue Max, right? And it was a huge chunk. So I basically cut it in half. I have dinner tonight and last night. Like, that's just because it's split in half. I only have 6 ounces with my dinner. And one side of the steak definitely had more fat. But it's 6 ounces and I'm going to eat it. Yeah. So you're telling me that this side was 8 grams and this side was 8 grams? No, like this side was probably 16 and this was 8. In my Fitness Pal it says 12, so they kind of balance out a little bit. But it's never going to be perfect. I don't stress about it. It is what it is. So, like I think once you learn about certain things, you can kind of get a better control of it. And that's why I say if you do the diet right, it's not going to take you a long time, because whether you're tracking or not during the exit strategy, all of it takes less time if you learn properly during the diet. The problem is there's a lot of diet companies and coaches out there that just give you macros and say, like, all right, get after it. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing, how we're doing it, when it adjusts, when the phase ends, no periodization, nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why we focus on so many smaller details with clients.
Totally.
We want to teach them the right way.